Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another vloggity vlog. I don't know why I switched it up, but welcome back to another day in my life, week in my life, here at our future little homestead in the city / mountains. Now, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys just everything that we've been up to. So many house projects as usual. I am continuing to move forward on our cabinets in our kitchen, and I'm also going to bring you along just for fun things that we did, food that I made, different meals that I ate, which I guess is kind of the same thing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And last but not least, if you haven't checked out my Patreon, I will link that down below. I upload a bunch of exclusive content over there, and I have been for a while. My topics kind of run the gamut, but in general, I've really just enjoyed sharing those videos with those of you that have gone over. I appreciate you, by the way, so much. And those of you that haven't checked it out but want to, like I said, I'll link it down below. And with all of that being said, let's hop right in. So I'm including these clips just because they're very sweet, but we're actually taking it back to Christmas. And even though this was Logan's second Christmas, in a lot of ways it felt like his first, because it's the first time he's been like aware that he's receiving gifts. And he received this stuffed panda, which he is obsessed with. He loves this book called Animal Faces. And so this was just very exciting for him and very sweet. And he also received some picture books from my family. He's really been enjoying Winnie the Pooh. And so my parents bought him a few Winnie the Pooh books. And then they actually got us this beautiful, like handmade wood ornament. And it was just a really beautiful, relaxing day full of yummy food and sweet, relaxing memories. So we've actually gone sledding a couple of times recently, and this was one of the times. Now, ironically, you're not really going to see much sledding footage because it was so snowy and a lot was happening, so I didn't get much, but the drive up to our friend's house to go sledding was just absolutely beautiful. And while I definitely didn't do it justice, I wanted to share a little bit of what we were seeing driving out of town up the mountain. Now, I have to say, Dan and I have actually never seen terrain like this in our life ever, like either of us. All of the hills were completely overtaken with snow. It almost looked like sand dunes, but it was just smooth snow. It was absolutely beautiful. And like I said, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Like I mentioned, I didn't get a lot of footage because the snow was so deep. We actually just had a hard time like surviving, but it was really cute and it was a really great time. So that night when I got home, I cooked up something that I have been really into lately, actually low-key craving carrots. And so I chopped up some carrots, tossed them in some olive oil, and then I put some fresh garlic on top, quite a bit of fresh garlic, and then also a little bit of raw honey. I also put a little bit of smoked paprika on top and then lots of salt. And I just tossed it all together and threw it in the oven, I believe at 420 for maybe like 20-25 minutes. It's so good. And roasted carrots really all roasted vegetables last well in the fridge for a couple of days. So the next morning, I actually wanted to make some scrambled eggs, which I added a little bit of this artichoke jalapeno parmesan dip into the eggs as well. And if I haven't given you this tip, I really like to scramble my eggs on like a super low heat at a very slow pace. And that was our breakfast. So do you guys remember how my full-time job for a while was painting trim? My new full-time job is painting our cabinets. This is quite the ordeal, and I feel like I've been working on it for weeks. So I started off by rinsing out those mason jars because I thought I was actually going to be using both of them to make this cleaner. I didn't, but I did end up using one jar, and I used this whitening lightning cleaner from Dixie Belle. I'm not even sure I used it right. I mean, every step of everything that I'm contributing to this house, at least, has been full of this feeling of doubt. Like, am I even doing this right? And speaking of doing something wrong, once I got the lid on, I shook up the cleanser. Then as you can see, like that lid was not very secure, so it kind of spilled everywhere. And from there, I actually poured it into this measuring glass and then poured it into a spray bottle so that I could use this cleaner to wipe down all of my cabinets. Now, in retrospect, I almost kind of wish that I had had the cleaner like in a bucket and I had been like soaking a rag before I washed off the cupboards. But pause, because I looked over at Logan and he had crawled in Daddy's boots and it was just really cute. So back to the cupboards, I put my gloves on because that's what everybody said to do. Wear gloves while you're using this cleaning solution. And as you can see, I sprayed the cupboards and then wiped them off. Now, I had already done, if you've been watching my home videos, I had already done a pretty deep clean scrubbing situation on all of our cabinets. And I had scrubbed off a lot of grease. But this, I just felt like, you know, it had been at least another couple of weeks since I had done that. And I felt like it needed another clean. And like I said, I wanted to use this solution because pretty much everyone recommends using this stuff before you actually paint with chalk paint, which I don't think I've officially said to you guys. Maybe I did in my last vlog, but I am painting the cabinets with chalk paint. I will say it again, I'm very nervous, but I'm just trying to go one step at a time and hope that my cabinets turn out as great as my pecan pie did. Now, while I did that, Dan actually worked on taking off the cupboards. So once I had given them a wipe down and cleaned them off, he went through and removed all of the cabinet doors and all of the hardware for me to take them into the office and prime. So like most things, I didn't really have a great system set up, but we laid out some cloth in the office and faced the cabinets up. Now, all of the cabinets are not in this room. We had to do them in 2 shifts. So half of them would stay in this room, half would stay in the garage. And the plan was once I got one coat completed and dried, I would swap them out with the ones in the garage to dry out there for a while and bring the ones in the garage in. Now, little did I know, past Nikki, how hard this was going to be, because at this point I was still thinking I was maybe going to do just one coat of primer. But after talking to a few people and actually sharing on Instagram and getting your guys' feedback, and because the directions say so, I decided to actually do 2 coats. Now, I had to pause because the sunset outside was absolutely insane. And then like 30 seconds later, it changed this much. It's amazing how just a couple of seconds can change the coloring so much. And then, of course, I had to capture this because there goes Roomba Boy. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen some of this, but I just felt like it was too good to not reshare over here. So we went to a place in Coeur d'Alene. I believe this is called Cherry Hill. And usually it's actually kind of packed with people sledding, like on good sled days. But at this time, no one had made their way over. So we had the entire hill to ourselves. And as you can see, we had an absolute blast. All right, so I wanted to share with you guys my flooring. So many of you have asked me to share specifically what flooring we got. So screenshot these images if you want to check them out. And I'm actually trying to get a direct link to the flooring as well. So check my info box because I might have a direct link for you to check out exactly the flooring that we got. So speaking of more wood items, Dan on this day decided to start working on our fireplace mantle. And what he did was he bought this wood from Home Depot, just regular wood, and he distressed it himself. So he took his sander and just went in and chipped off corners and tried to just kind of wear it down and make it look worn, not like perfect wood. By the way, while he was working, it was fully snowing outside and he had the garage door open. So he had quite the little snow view while he worked on the mantle. And then for lunch this day, I actually made all of us these little mini kind of BLTs with some salsa on it and some more of that artichoke jalapeno Parmesan dip. I also put some stone ground mustard in the sandwich, and then baby was begging for yogurt and honey and berries. And so I put that on the side as well with our little bit of leftover homemade tomato soup with a splash of raw cream on top, roasted carrots, and pickles. Random, but delicious. All right, guys, so I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry that I'm like obsessed with making pie now. So on this day, I mean, honestly, hold on. Ever since I made that first pie, Logan like yells for pie regularly now. He'll just out of nowhere be like, pie. I'm like, all right, baby. So on this day, I gave into that desire that he had and I had, and I decided to make some more pie. Now, I will say a lot of you guys have told me that pie crust seems really intimidating, and I just want to encourage you, you can do it. I will link down below the pie crust recipe that I've kind of followed. Now, the difference is I use actually a whole stick of butter as opposed to the measurement she gives, which I believe is like 1/3 of a cup. I just like it better with more butter, but I still follow her video while I'm making the pie crust because it feels like I have someone in the room with me helping me cook, you know? How cool is that? We're still trying to figure out what we're putting on the inside. We thought we were going to do brick, but now we're not so sure. But having that outer mantle done, I just think so cool. It made me really happy. Good job, Dan. And then I made my way over to the kitchen. As you saw, the Instant Pot was on because we were actually cooking a whole chicken to make some white chicken chili. So I got to chopping up my veggies, my bell peppers, my red onions. I actually blended a few cups of the mixture together to help thicken the whole soup and give it even creamier of a taste, even though I was planning on adding dairy. Now, we ended up putting the entire chicken in the white chicken chili. I honestly think it was too much, or we should have added more broth and maybe another can or two of beans, but it was still super tasty. And now that I've been eating leftovers, it's actually okay because you can kind of thicken up leftovers as you go, or like bulk up leftovers. So it's fine, but I will say it was not exactly the right ratio in that sense. But once everything had cooked and we were nearing the end, I added in a good amount of raw cream. I also added in some fresh cilantro, as well as some cheddar cheese and sour cream. Now, I'm not sure if this was the same day or a different day, but we had a lot of laundry to do, so I needed to fold it and put it away. Logan loves to grab the laundry that I'm folding and just play with it. So on this day, he had climbed inside of the pillowcase, as you do when you're a toddler. This was just so cute. I had to capture it. But Dan has been working on the trim in our house, and Logie was there to help. Remember how I told you guys it's been snowing so much around here? Look at how high the snow is going up on my legs. I've never seen this much snow in my life. I was actually scared for a little bit, but not scared enough to not go out and film. My friend recently gave me these 3 poinsettia plants from over Christmas. And so I've actually been trying to see if I can just keep them alive. Now, for them to bloom, they need like a ton of special care, but I'm just trying to keep them alive. So wish me luck. Hi guys. What's happening right there? Oh, I don't know. I thought something was on the screen. Anyways, I'm popping in here for something really random that I wanted to ask you guys. I get asked a lot about homeschooling, and I know why I was homeschooled, to those of you that don't know that, from 6th grade on. And it was, I will say this like all the time in retrospect, that was, in my opinion, like the best thing my parents ever did for me, and the thing that I'm the most grateful for, besides being raised in a Christian home and exposed to Christ and the Bible and all of that. Besides that, being homeschooled is one of the things I'm the most grateful for, especially because I had that contrast of like my first 6-7 years in school, and then I left in 6th grade, and I did not like school. And I've said that a bunch, and I'm sure that's, you know, all of these things I'm sure is why people ask me about homeschooling a lot. The thing is, I am not quite sure. I want to talk more about homeschooling. I'm like really passionate about it because it changed my life, and I really think the trajectory of my life so much, and the trajectory of my mental health too, that I always want to share and I want to talk about it, but I'm never really sure what to talk about, especially because even though I have a kid, he's like not schooling age yet. Now, in my mind, he's already being schooled. Like I think in typical homeschooling fashion, I see life as school as opposed to just like school, you know what I mean? Like actual school work. And I do think actual school work is good. I've mentioned this before. I don't plan on being a full unschooler, but I do like a lot of the general concepts, and I do agree with a lot of the general concepts. That being said, yes, I consider life school, and I am already like kind of schooling Logan, not only throughout the day with life, but I have been reading to Logan anywhere from 1 to 5+ books a day since he was a couple of months old. And I really went out of my way to do that. And I still go out of my way, that it's like, we have to make this happen, because I think it's important for a lot of reasons. It's also bonding time. We really love just getting to sit down and read together, but I think that's a huge part of his education. And I think that communication and language is just a really important part of anyone's education in general, because if you understand language and you know how to read and you know how to communicate, I think that in and of itself is like a key to unlocking more education, more knowledge, obviously, right? So really this is kind of a chatty thing, but it's also like a question. I want to know from you guys, if I were to do a homeschooling video, first off, would you even like that? But second off, what would you like me to talk about? What kind of questions would you have? I want to kind of gather thoughts and questions from the comments. So let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions. I realize I just repeated myself 14 times, but I really want to know. So that's all. If you felt confused or left out of anything happening in this video, you might want to check out the videos that I've put up over the last few months, just kind of explaining and showing and bringing you guys along for everything. So I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Keep swimming, keep going, guys, and I will, God willing, see you back here soon with another new video. Bye, guys.